What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gershwan.
We're back at it to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
Yeah. So this is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. We'll answer it in this video. But you have to put question in front of your question because we get to those first.
And usually there's so many questions with question before, we don't have time to answer the ones that don't have question there.
Yes. So always question.
Before your question.
Baron von Bolt asks, what do you think about the idea of GW coming out with armies for Necrontyr and old ones, or approving a company to create a video game based off of that so people could play the War in Heaven?
Really awesome. I've always liked the War in Heaven. This would be a great idea for GW to do. Although Necrontyr, I don't know. I feel like they look too much like a Skinny Tao.
They do. From the fan art and stuff like that, that's how they paint them.
Yeah.
It would really be badass if they can take their epic, like Warhammer Epic series.
Yeah, that's true.
Change it up, give us a box set for the War in Heaven in an epic setting. Because when you think of the War in Heaven, you think of like Necrontyr ships blowing up planets.
You got Catan star gods going at it.
Yep, and that's like perfect for epic because you would have models. Now you can make models the size of the old schools or the older Space Marines because Primaris Marines are a lot bigger now. But yeah, that would be really badass. Now, as far as a video game company taking that and going with it, it would be cool. But at the same time, I'd be kind of worried that that the War in Heaven is so vague, so it's easy for us to just like fill the blank spots with stuff that we have in our minds, and it's awesome. But now that company would actually set in stone, like the Necrontyr. Yeah, this happened, this happened, this happened.
Silent King did this, and it's like, oh, what? Why would he do that?
Yeah, and you flip tables, you break PlayStations, and yeah, you don't want that.
Because usually if you flip tables, your minis are going to get broken.
Yeah.
But no, that'd be a really awesome thing. War in Heaven. Really, really amazing stuff.
Yep. Next question.
Matches Boston. Just how awesome were the ancient Eldar orgies before they went crazy?
They were so badass that entire planets were dedicated to the orgy. Because you have to remember that Eldar live a lot longer than humans. So, children not allowed. Next question.
Wojciech Jarsinski. In your honest opinion, what is the best army for someone who is just starting out with 40K to go up and grab?
Space Marines.
Nilla Marines would probably be the best. You could paint them any color, any kind of which way, get whatever units, and just play a game. And yeah, that's the best way, because the more freedom you have, the less chances you're doing something wrong, so you'll probably get better at it, if that makes sense. So, Nilla Marines.
Nilla Marines. And also, if you buy the box sets, the No Fear and all that kind of stuff, or start collecting too, but if you buy like the No Fear box set right now for the Primaris Marines, you have that and Nurgle. Yeah, so you can play with both.
Get a buddy and go at it.
Yep. Next question comes from Azdude150. What happens to a female Imperial Guard if they get pregnant? They have a kid.
They gave her a year leave.
It all depends really on like
where you're at. Are you in like a planet that's literally you're gonna die if you give birth or something like that?
Yeah, because no escape means no escape. So if you're pregnant, it's not like the gene stealer's gonna be like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because if you're fighting like a guerrilla war, or like you're trying to be sneaky and you give birth, you got a crying baby that's gonna give away your position. So it's not the best kind of option. Probably they'll just be like, oh, she's gonna be a hindrance for us. Fight up until you're like 9 months, and then they'll probably just kill her or something.
So wrap it up, guys. Next question.
This one's by Alexander Houston. Do orcs just emerge out of the ground at full size, or do they grow like from children to adults? And also, do they have working genitals?
No, they don't have working genitals. because they are a fungus.
They themselves are a genital.
Basically. And then, how do they grow? So they start off as tadpoles, and then they grow legs, and then they just like sprout teeth, and then that's it. But this all happens within a matter of like a couple hours. Next question.
Dragon Punch 903. Speaking of orcs, can orcs swim? Do they wear Speedos?
Yes and yes. Next question comes from All Might. Can a Tyranid from one fleet, Kraken, intermingle with a Tyranid from another? Or will they fight? They fight.
Yeah. Back in the day, I thought they were all one huge unified force. But with the new 8th edition stuff kind of leaking out, previews, Warhammer community giving us new info, it looks like there are different hive fleets, different adaptations for each individual one, and they will fight if they do come in contact.
Yep. Which also builds the question, if the Tyranids are a weapon, why don't they work together? Mm-hmm. Next question comes from Marcus Garrison. What do you guys think about the new Necromunda game? I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, the models look pretty awesome. Very, what's the word? Noir? No.
Planchitsu.
There you go.
I still haven't seen them. Next question.
This is by Ali Parada. Is there lore of a female Eldar giving birth to a human male? Well, I think you mean a female Eldar doing it with a human male, giving birth to a hybrid child. There were these kind of instances back in the day, but I believe GW has since retconned it, so it is now not officially canon. But yeah, there used to be these awesome offsprings of half human, half Eldar that were really powerful psychically. So much so that they were like sought out and people tried to capture them and use them as human weapons and whatnot. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not a thing anymore.
Next question comes from Joseph Keinschlein? I think so. If you look at Commissar Yarrick, I'm guessing, and the fact that he was an unmodified human who is significantly older than most guardsmen, then how was he able to survive so many mortal wounds? Like when he ripped the power claw off the big orc in a single combat, while having his own arm severed. I feel Wa energy keeps him alive, since the orcs see him as such a badass. Maybe Gork and Mork keep him alive to make his followers stronger. Yeah. Also, I'm a Wa energy. Wa energy is related to, but much different from warp energy. Kind of like AC/DC electricity. Thank you. Thanks for your hard work, guys. Thank you.
But yeah, Yarrick has been basically the bane of the greenskins for quite a while, and that's because of what you said. They think of him as, he's a big baddie, we can never defeat him. So he's being empowered by this orc belief.
Yeah.
And also he's been fighting orcs for like basically all his life, so he's good at it.
Yeah, he knows where the weak spots are.
3 inches below the chin.
Yes. Next question comes from Marcin Nevero. He has 3 questions. How does a single Space Marine join Chaos Forces?
He's like, sorry guys, I'm gonna go join these dudes.
Yeah.
Pretty much, he just kind of defects, or he gets corrupted by Chaos.
Yep, and the way he gets corrupted is either like he reads something, he comes across someone who's already tainted by Chaos, and then that taints him. He has visions, so the Chaos Gods actually come to him for a specific reason, like Zinch. And then like slowly he gets other people involved, and then he succumbs or whatever. Right. And then next question: are there any small warp-capable spaceships, like 1 or 3 man?
Not that I'm aware of. Usually it's all like barges and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Can Space Marines from one chapter join another one? And how does cooperations from chapters look like? Sometimes
you get the main example is the Death Watch. You get whole conglomeration of different Space Marines chapters unifying together to fight the Xenos.
And there's also one other chapter. It's like a successor chapter that actually sends their...
Yeah.
Actually, it might be the White Scars.
Is it?
I think it's the White Scars that send like their neophytes to other chapters to learn from those chapters, learn about their history, and learn about who their enemies that they fight, so that when they come back, they kind of know what's good. Because you have to remember that a big part of the White Scars chapter is the idea that you are gonna at some point set out to hunt an enemy.
Right. And their cooperation between chapters is pretty well. Back in the Horus Heresy, the Blood Angels used to fight a lot of times with the Luna Wolves. So much so that Horus and Sanguinius were like bros. Same thing with Fulgrim and what's his name?
Ferrus Manus?
No. Yeah, Ferrus Manus. So yeah, they've built this relationship so much so that when they fight, they have that stability. Unfortunately, the two examples we mentioned was of a Loyalist chapter and a Chaos chapter, so they don't have those ties anymore in the 40th millennium.
Yeah, but usually the successor chapter really is subordinate to the first founding chapter.
Right.
Next question. Fan 9775. Can us Guards players make our own chapters equivalents? To what? Equivalents to... Yeah, I don't know. Equivalents to what?
Say that again?
So, can us Guards players make our own chapter equivalents?
I think what you're trying to say is, can you make your own Imperial Guard regiment?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's possible,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
You'd have to like borrow rules from another existing regiment. So have them have like the Death Corps of Krieg rules, but have them look different lore, that kind of thing.
And it's no different than what Space Marine chapters do, because if you play your own successor chapter, you borrow whatever
from your
chapter tactic. Yeah, it's from your first founding. So yeah, but the Imperial Guard Codex isn't out yet. So
yeah, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, Imperial Guard came out like, I think it was the one before the Tyranids.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Grimlets. Does this make sense lore-wise? I'm thinking about making my very first chapter of Primaris Space Marines. They would be a collection of guys from various other chapters who became tired of the mistrust and resentment from the original Astartes, and they then broke off, and basically they started their own club. They would shun regular Space Marines, but would still be very friendly towards the Mechanicus, because Call is their daddy. So again, does this make sense? So
yeah.
You're saying, let me get this straight. You're saying you're making a whole Primaris chapter based on Primaris who have left their regular chapters because of the mistrust between Primaris and regular Marines. Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, that's actually a really good concept. Throwing in the whole idea of them being partnered with the Mechanicus is a little like too much. Don't put too much emphasis on that, just because it seems like you would have a lot of different viewpoints molded into one. So it would be more like an outcast chapter rather than a chapter that follows the Mechanicum or whatever. But either way, it works.
Yeah, it's definitely. Well, when I think of Primaris, I mean they're always going to be shunned. Like, who are these new guys helping us? You know, they look better than we do. They're true scale. So yeah.
And then in the lore also, it would be really good for you to add in ideas or add in like campaigns where some of the actual Primaris Marines kind of are borderline chaotic. Just to add another level of why they're separating from their own chapter.
Maybe they don't adhere to the Codex Astartes, that much. Maybe they've killed some fellow Space Marines to prove their point that, hey, we're not you, we want to be our own thing, something like that.
Yeah, or also like they see that Space Wolves have Wolfen, these
Blood Angels have the Black Rage, the Red Thirst, that kind of thing.
And they're supreme, and they're like they don't suffer from those taints, so like they want to separate themselves.
Yeah, it's like we're the pure ones. You guys are filth. Like we're here to cleanse the Imperium. That's what they were born here to do.
Yeah. So add that awesome fluff to your chapters.
Yep.
Those were the questions for today.
That's right. Good questions, and keep them coming, guys. We do this 3 times a week, so ask away.
Gersh1.
Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and we are...